Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and today we are taking a look at the build up to Christmas, talking through expectations, hopes, and everything in between. Let's go. Yes, West Ham Network. So I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Today, we are going to be talking through West Ham's next 6 games, taking us all the way up to Christmas. And it's going to be a hugely important patch for our season. We've said this for a little while, but everything that happened before the international break actually kind of makes it somewhat more important. And this is because we've got some really difficult fixtures leading up to Christmas. We've got the Bournemouth away game on Saturday. Here they are. We've got Liverpool at home, Man United away, Brighton away, Villa at home, and then finally Man City away on the 20th of December. Now, it goes without saying, they're not very kind fixtures, are they? But could this be one of those patches where West Ham go all West Ham way and miraculously perform best against the better teams? This is my hope, if I'm completely honest. So every one of those teams there is in the top 11, but we've all seen it before. We have struggled against newly promoted sides or those that are guaranteed to be relegated, and then we turn up against the top 6 side and we can get a result. So if there's any team that can defy the odds, I think it could be us. Now, the question that I have for you is, how many points do you think that we will get in these 6 games? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to bring them back up on the screen so you've got them there. So as a reminder, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Man United, Brighton, Villa and City. It's not easy. It's not pretty. And this was a patch that we looked at when the fixtures were released and we said, oh, that's going to be a horrible build up to Christmas. Now, the good news is we find ourselves in a position where we're coming off the back of a couple of good results. But this is why there's huge pressure on this Bournemouth game to make sure that that starts some momentum, because obviously we want to have seen some improvement after the international break. Coming off the back of that Newcastle and Burnley win, we really want to start building that momentum. And we've spoken about momentum so many times. We get a game, maybe 2 games in, and we destroy it. It all falls apart and you're starting again. But we don't want to be starting from scratch at this point. That's what the main thing is. We know the Burnley performance in particular, it wasn't the prettiest, but we got the job done. And currently, that is what matters most. Just making sure that we are getting points on the board, but we need to take that confidence now to build momentum and get these points moving forward as well. And the table itself is so tight that we've just got a huge opportunity to climb the league, if I'm honest. And that excites me, but it also makes me quite nervous, because if we don't get points here, we could start to see ourselves drop away. All the morale, the enthusiasm, the happiness that we've kind of been seeing recently at West Ham that slightly just started to return to our lives, it could disappear. And it would also mean that those 2 wins before the international break would mean very little if we ended up letting that happen. So we have got to work really hard to make sure that we can get some results in these games. And I want to know your thoughts. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, give the video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to West Ham Network, because it goes a massive way to supporting the channel and meaning we can make more content. But anyway, as a reminder as well, this is the patch that leads up to AFCON, which makes it even more important that we pick up points now before we've got some new challenges to face at West Ham. So we've got the potential of Wan-Bissaka and Diouf actually missing the City game there before Christmas, because they've got 3 days before the City game and their first AFCON games. So that will be another thing that we just need to navigate. We've got Scarles and Walker-Peters, so we have those 2 that can fill in, providing they stay fit and healthy until then. But we don't have many options. We know this. And again, this puts pressure on our recruitment in January and whether we could get any loanees to help us through the rest of the season. The AFCON final is on the 18th of January, so we do have a patch where we need to find some solutions, however we go about that. Best case, it creates an opportunity for others to step in, but that's taking a little look into the future beyond Christmas. So I guess it's not as relevant in context to this topic of how many points we can pick up before Christmas. But basically, the main point of this is me saying it's so important that we pick up points now, so that as we go into this more challenging patch where we might have some of our starting 11 missing because of AFCON, that we're feeling strong and we've hopefully found a system that works and we can just tailor it a bit for the players that are missing, rather than feeling like we still need to find our feet, because currently it looks like we're seeing glimpses of us finding our feet. Obviously it's going to take time. We knew this. We knew that Nuno was coming into a project that was essentially so broken that there was so much work to be done. But yeah, that would have been the case regardless, that we needed to pick up as many points before AFCON anyway, because we love points. We just love points, don't we? So the question that I've got today for you, lovely viewers, is how many points do you think we'll get in those 6 games? And like I said, if you haven't already, I want you to comment below with how many points. And I also want you to tell me why and which points in which games that you think we're going to get. For me, my hope is that the mindset and work rate will be high following our 2 wins in the international break, and we'll be really keen to kick on and just get ourselves out and away from that relegation zone, because this is our chance to do it. And then hopefully towards the end of the season have some slightly easier, if you can call them that, fixtures where we can pick up more points and actually have a strong end to a very horrible start of a season. My hope is that basically the international break hasn't impacted what we've been building. So I'm going to hope that we can perform unexpectedly well against the bigger sides. And for that reason, I'm predicting 3 points against Bournemouth, 3 points against Liverpool, who have lost 4 of their last 5 games, by the way. Great time to be facing them. Or it could be the West Ham way that they suddenly pick up form against us. But I'm going for the earlier one there. 1 point against Man United, 1 point against Brighton in typical bogey team fashion. I'm going to say 3 points against Villa and a loss against City. I just think they're always difficult to play against, aren't they? So based on that, that's 11 points from 6 tough fixtures. And if we can do that, I'll be very happy, because 11 points right now would put us in a very different position in the league. And it would mean that we're not necessarily relying on other teams to underperform for us to be able to get away from that relegation zone. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Am I being disgustingly optimistic, or are you going into this patch hoping for the best, but mentally preparing for the worst? Because I've just got everything crossed. This is the point we start to see things properly turning around, and it's not 1 or 2 games or a scrappy result, but actually starting to see what we're trying to do long term and spot that vision now. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to West Ham Network so you never have to miss a video, and give this video a thumbs up to support the channel. Let us know as well what kinds of content you'd like to see in the coming weeks. So drop it down in the comments, because we want to make loads of good festive content, because Christmas is coming and these games are going to be interesting, I think, because it really feels like a bit of a crossroads where we either undo the hard work that we've done or we build on that. And I really hope that we can build on it. So I've got faith. I'm feeling positive. We're going to go and hopefully get an absolute result against Bournemouth. Let's look at the fixtures there. Like I said, also, a lot of them are top 11, but typically, quite a few of them there, you would have called top 6 sides traditionally. So they are underperforming. Hopefully that makes it a good time to face them, not a time where suddenly we're shocked that they can find some form. But hopefully West Ham can get a result. That's all we need. A few more results, and I think we'll be looking in a very different position. And hopefully there'll be more positivity. Everyone will just be a bit more riled up and happy, and that will reflect in the way in which we're playing. But I think Nuno's good for getting mindset working and getting players working together, and I guess doing a U-turn in mentality, because that's what we've had to do to get to this point, and we need to keep building on that. So here's to a positive lead up to Christmas. It's going to be fun. There's no Boxing Day fixture either, so that's weird. But yeah, I just hope that we can get enough points from these difficult fixtures that we don't find ourselves adrift at the bottom, because traditionally as well, you look at those fixtures and go, oh, well, we're not going to beat City. We're not going to necessarily beat Man United. Like, we're looking at Liverpool. You're not going to necessarily pick up points. But if we can, it puts us in a very different position. And obviously this is getting some of those horrible teams to face out of the way. So hopefully we're pleasantly surprised. We know we've seen us do it before, where we can turn up against the team and actually perform well out of nowhere, because we almost step up to their level when they're passing around nicely. And that is my hope, because obviously we know that in the last season, basically, we've watched us just get dominated by better sides. But if we can play our game and keep our head switched on in the way that we need to, in the way that I think Nuno's building that with the team, my hope is that we can actually get some results here. So to cut a very long story short, let me know how many points. I'll speak to you all soon. Till next time, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in later. I'm going to be chatting through Hammers headlines for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, come on you Irons. Irons.